So Josh Rosen, the 10th overall pick in the 2018 draft, that guy who stood in front of the media on draft day, some called him arrogant, some called him cocky, some just said, that's just confidence, that's what I want in a quarterback. That guy is 2 years into the league and is almost out of the league. What the hell happened to this guy? Was it his fault? Was it the systems that he was put into? I'm going to let you know exactly what happened to Josh Rosen, and also a situation that I think would work out for him in terms of development and becoming a starting NFL quarterback. Really quickly, if you're in need of a mask, check out affinitymask.com. You can use code HOOK and get 20% off. They're super comfortable. They're washable, reusable. They come with the filters. Check it out. I'll link it down below. So our guy, Josh Rosen, has had a rough go in the NFL. There's a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL that I always question if it's their fault that they were deemed busts, or that they were out of the league so quickly, or they were seen as not starting quarterbacks in the NFL, when in hindsight it might have just been, hey, they were drafted by the Cleveland Browns and there's some idiots running that organization. There's no good coaches, there's no good supporting cast. And in my opinion, I really think that's what happened to Josh Rosen. Now, I don't think I'm a person that's ready to give up on Josh Rosen. As much as I'm not a huge fan of him and his personality, I think he deserves another shot. But let's rewind the clock a little bit here. Josh Rosen started off at a Catholic school out in California where he passed for over 8,000 yards and over 90 touchdowns. So this guy was a five-star recruit coming out of high school, was seen as the #1 quarterback in his class in high school in 2015. And we're talking about a really talented group of quarterbacks coming out of high school. And funny enough, when he was getting drafted in the NFL, that was a great class as well. But the dudes that were in high school at the time were Joe Burrow. You had the Jets, Sam Darnold. You got the Ravens, Lamar Jackson. And a little foreshadowing here, you had Kyler Murray, who's coming out of high school as well. Josh Rosen decided on UCLA. That's where he was going to take his talents, stick it in California. And this is where he earned the nickname of Chosen Rosen. He had a great freshman year there. And to fast forward the clock a little bit, he got hurt in his sophomore year, but came back strong his junior year and had his career year in that year, earning all Pac-12 honors, and also kind of a side note, racking up a lot of concussions. And so a lot of people decided, hey, probably a good time for you to go and enter the NFL draft. A lot of people said that he was going to go in the top 10. He was even mocked to be a quarterback taken #1 overall by the Cleveland Browns that year. But as we know, he slipped all the way to 10 and was actually, I believe it was the 4th quarterback taken. But the Arizona Cardinals really wanted him because they traded from 15, I think they were at, all the way up to 10. And that was the Raiders' pick. So they ended up taking Josh, and I don't know if you've ever seen the media conference that he had after. It was a very, very confident press conference. He was sure that he was going to be the next big thing. I don't think he was really looking at the roster that he was dealing with, and also he was dealing with a first-year head coach in Wilks. So he goes to Arizona, and with a bad supporting cast, with that first-year head coach in Wilks, in week 3, they decided to throw him into the mix. And what's a better time to throw your very young puppy of a quarterback into a situation than in a week 3 matchup of the best defense in the NFL, the Chicago Bears? And it went exactly how you think it would go. 36 yards, an interception, no touchdowns, and he played like dog shit. But what do you expect? He's a rookie quarterback playing the best defense in the entire world. And, some would call that a questionable move. You got a quarterback who's got a pretty big ego. And if you're looking for a way to damage that ego pretty quickly, throw him in against the Bears. So not only did they decide that they were going to keep him in that entire game, they decided we're going to roll with him and give him the team for the rest of the year. Throughout the rest of the year, he racked up 3 wins, had 11 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, and he was sacked a total of 45 times. Not exactly great numbers there. And the Arizona Cardinals, the front office, quite frankly, just saw enough of Wilks. They were ready to move on from him after just 1 year. They decided to scoop up Cliff Kingsbury, who, as we know, loves a fast-tempo offense, and actually was on record. He was doing an interview about Kyler Murray at one point in time and said, if I ever got a chance to pick 1 overall and Kyler Murray's sitting there, I would take him because it matches his offense. He's a perfect guy for his offense, and he just really liked him. So the writing was on the wall pretty immediately that Kingsbury was going to take Kyler Murray. And of course, as we know, ended up taking Kyler Murray. And Josh Rosen, his time in Arizona was done. He was immediately traded to the Miami Dolphins the day after. And he handled it well. He put out a video. You could say what you want about that. It's probably a good PR move. His agent probably got him on the phone and said, hey, let's handle this in the best way possible. You're still a young quarterback. You got to be known as a dude that can roll with the punches. So get that video out there. Again, what Josh didn't know is he's going to be dealing with a first-year head coach again, and our guy from New England, Flores, who doesn't like losing, who's actually a really good head coach, but more defensive-minded. Again, not only with a first-year head coach, Josh Rosen was going to be dealing with a bad supporting cast. And again, I think this is a really, really big factor. An offensive line that was ranked at the bottom of the league again. Without protection for a young quarterback, somebody who's trying to develop how to make reads. Also, you got to be able to run that rock a little bit and take pressure off of the quarterback. Another bad situation to be in. So they actually threw Josh Rosen in. I don't know if you remember this. They threw him in right away. He went 0 for 3. He got sacked a whole bunch again. He was just getting his ass kicked. Had a 53% completion rate. And the coaches, they just saw enough. And I think Brian Flores is a prideful guy. The Dolphins were supposed to be tanking for Tua, or tanking for, was it tanking for Tua at the point? They ended up getting Tua anyways. A lot of people thought they were going to tank, but I think Flores wanted to compete a little bit. He put the veteran quarterback and Fitzpatrick in, and they essentially gave up on Josh Rosen. So after a couple years in the NFL, we got to ask ourselves, has this guy been given a legit chance to develop as a quarterback? Either, I say emotionally, but this guy has a big ego, and it looks like it's been damaged pretty badly. And he hasn't been exactly underneath some great offensive-minded coaches as well. He's still super young too. I think that's what's really surprising. He's younger than Joe Burrow right now. So there's still time for him to get into a system and learn underneath a veteran quarterback. And for some reason, I keep thinking the Atlanta Falcons, he would be a good fit there. They have Matt Schaub there as a backup quarterback, but Josh Rosen would really benefit from learning under a guy like Matt Ryan, who I see some similarities with, and also just great offense. There's a bunch of number 1 picks all over the field there. And of course, you're not going to land a big contract, and the Falcons are probably fine with quarterbacks now. But the upside of Josh Rosen, being that 10th overall pick, the number 1 guy coming out of high school, he's got a ton of talent. And I'm not ready to count him out. I think he just hasn't really had a chance to develop himself. Another good landing spot would be the Pittsburgh Steelers, because I'm just thinking older quarterbacks that are veteran, that are probably on their way out. You also have a really solid, underrated head coach in Mike Tomlin. You could learn under Ben Roethlisberger and get ready to start in a couple years. And with that said, why not throw out the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as well? You got Tom Brady, and what's a better quarterback to learn under than Tom Brady? We've seen other guys, of course, learn. You got Bill Belichick as well in that system. But being under Tom Brady, seeing his professionalism, how he carries himself, how he handles everything. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. We're trying to live the dream here and get this YouTube channel up and going. Maybe make a couple bucks one day.